So Crystal, fantastic to meet you. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us. Skate Kitchen, I'm a huge fan of the film.
Thank you very much.
For people who haven't seen it, what would you say this is about?
Well, I took a group of real girls and created a fictionalized version of their lives, and so it follows Camille, who's this lonely girl from Long Island who kind of finds this group of girls in New York City that skateboard, and she becomes a part of their crew, and it's about her relationship with them, friendship and love, and just everything that happens when you're coming of age.
And what gave you the idea for it? I understand you kind of almost stumbled across them when you were on a train.
I met the girls on the subway. We became friends, and we did a short film for Miu Miu. They have this Women Tales that they do twice a year, and they had me come in to direct one of those pieces. So we did that short film, and then that went really well. And I showed it actually to Kim Yutani, who is the head of programming at Sundance. She just got the job. Really proud of her. And she was like, you should turn this into a feature, and it kind of gave me the confidence to create a version of the film that was longer. It took the next year.
And it must be super challenging somehow to kind of do this sort of blur between, I guess, a documentary style film, then of course it's fictionalized characters and narrative with non-professional actors, except for Jaden Smith. So how do you kind of balance all those things to make it seem really authentic?
You know, for me, working with non-actors is actually easier. So it's like they're playing versions of themselves, as long as they're open, as long as they, you know, are not inhibited. They're just basically getting new circumstances that you're giving them, and they're, you know, being themselves under these new circumstances.
And one of the things I do love about it is that it does seem to kind of meander. Like, a lot of the joy of the film is just watching these girls interact, watching them muck about in the skate park.
Yeah.
And, you know, was that like a purposeful style that you wanted to go for?
Yeah, 'cause I mean, for me it was like really just nice just to hang out with them and to be with them, and I think that like when a film has like too much plot, you start to lose like the actual atmosphere of their lives.
And what do you think this film has to say, if not in a kind of cliched message kind of way, but it does feel like we are in a moment right now of redefining what we think women can and should be able to do. So do you think it fits into that?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, like, I see it to be a metaphor for girls to, you know, like, to really own the idea that they can do things that normally they think they can't do. And it's more than just skateboarding, it's anything. It's, you know, directing films or whatever.
And it also feels to me like there's almost this kind of like millennial, you know, pull back to the kind of a retro scene in ways. There's sort of like an 80s vibe to some of the skate culture stuff. Do you think that's kind of true in the zeitgeist at the moment?
I mean, I feel like skate culture always feels the same to me. So it's like I've been in skate culture since I was 10, and it's always kind of has like this similar vibe. But like I think it's just you know, rowdy young kids doing their thing, and they're still passionate about something.
And in particular, I think Rochelle really stands out as Camille. What was it like working with her particularly?
Oh, it was great. I mean, Rochelle is an incredible actress. She's very dedicated, and she's very smart about what she's doing, and it was great. I mean, you know, when you're on something that's that intense, there's a learning curve. You know, she never acted in a feature film before, but she pulled it off and carried the film beautifully, I think.
And, you know, even just this Sundance London edition, it feels like there's a lot of female film directors with female-led films. Do you think we are in a little bit of a turning point in the industry at the moment?
I hope so. I think that there's definitely a lot of women making films, and they're getting more opportunities to make films, and I think that the next issue and the next level is to really put pressure on the industry for distribution and acquisitions to let these, you know, female-led films, a female cast with like a female gaze, you know, speaking about things that women deal with every day, out into the world, because I know that like a man in his 50s who owns a distribution company probably doesn't want to see that story, but he should look to his female counterparts, or hire a woman to head up his acquisition company, and so they can also bring these films out into the public.
Do you know if you've got any other projects in the pipeline? What's up for you next?
I do, but I'm not publicly talking about them yet.
No worries. It seems like you had a lot of fun filming this one. Did
Yeah,
you
it
have
was
any particular highlights or really tricky bits to film?
I think just corralling 7 girls at a skate park with their skateboards is tricky, but it's fun, and it was a funny process, but it worked out clearly.
No genuine injuries?
No, actually, there was, we shot about 250 skateboarders, and there wasn't any broken bones, so.
Do you think there's going to be more female skaters now after seeing this film?
I mean, there's a revolution that's happening, and they're starting it, and hopefully this film helps their movement.
All right, fantastic. Well, like
Thank
I
you.
said, brilliant film. So
All right,
thanks so much
Sarah.
for your time.
Nice to meet you.